We'll be up in just a second. We're finishing up a few little details before we get going, but we'll be on in probably 5 to 10 minutes at the most. All right, so this is tour. We're about to go get our own. Well, we're headed up the block to Kelsey's home right now. We are under the impression that we're going to be up in just a second. I'm finishing up a few little things I need to get worked out, and then I will come on and do an update. Right now, you're just watching a bunch of the old video footage. This is the actual day that they had Crystal Lee Kinney at the house doing a walkthrough. They showed the video of her. This was actually going on when they were the day they were pulling up the floorboards. They were pulling up. CBI, FBI went to the house. So what you're about to watch is that video of them going into the house, and the cops are there, and I pull right up into the neighborhood. But I'll be on in just 2 seconds live. I'm trying to finish up one little thing before I come on. Oh, we're back. All right. Now, if you're just joining, I'm just going through some older clips of this case. This was the day that actually CBI was there, FBI showed up, and we're working on the um, ability to this was the day they were doing the search after. So the day they pulled up the floorboards, the day they picked up all that other stuff. So let's kill all this video. But we're going to talk about Crystal Lee Kinney, the devil, as Dan May is quoted in saying, the devil, we made a deal with the devil. So not new information, but some information has come out that the DA's office, if you remember correctly, when they gave Crystal Lee her deal, they added the ability to add an aggravated to the charge. So it would be like saying, hey, it's a way that they can still give her a 5th or 6th degree felony, but when they add that aggravated onto the charge, it gives them the ability to give her more jail time, to give her a stronger sentence. And from the information we've been given from deep within the catacombs of the DA's office, it looks like Dan May and the DA's office is going to add that aggravated on, which will then give the ability to the judge. Right now, the judge only has the ability, the maximum sentence he can give is 18 months in jail. Now, he doesn't have to give jail time. He could just give 18 months probation. But when they add that aggravated charge, they will then be able to give her up to 3 years in jail. And it is my belief that the judge is not going to let her walk free. So Crystal Lee, if you're watching this video, you better get your bags packed. You better get your affairs in order, because come December 2nd, during your hearing, you will officially find out about the aggravated charges. You'll probably find out beforehand. You're probably finding out right now, actually. And let me just tell you, you might as well take this to the bank, Crystal Lee. The judge is going to add those aggravated charges, or the DA is going to add them if they haven't already started to speak with your lawyer and let them know. And so when time comes for sentencing, we'll begin to see those charges and what that actually means. A lot of people have wondered how and why the judge has allowed her to walk free, and it was because they needed her to testify. They needed her to get on the stand. And if they were to put her in jail, they may have scared her off. She could have got up there and said, hey, I don't remember. For whatever reason. They allowed her to think that she was going to walk free from this. They allowed her to think that she wasn't going to face jail time. And now that Patrick Frazie's been found guilty, he's been sentenced, she's no longer on, like, they have no longer need for her. Let's put it this way. They are going to disregard the need for Crystal Lee. She doesn't need to be free. She doesn't deserve to be free. And I believe Dan May, all along, I believe Dan May had the plan, and that's why they allowed, they kind of just said, oh, by the way, if we want to add the aggravated charge, we can. We let that option out for us. And so that's what's going to take place now, because of this thing's over with, the trial's done, and now they're moving towards the sentencing of Crystal Lee. They are going to take her as far to the bank as they can. They're going to put her in prison for as long as they can. Now, if she gets 3 years prison time, she'll have the chance of parole. She'll have the chance of probation. She may do 18 months. She may... 33 years sounds good. Oh, look at this. Ooh, 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 ooh,
With love but spilled.
Hot coffee. If they decide, or when they decide to sentence her, they'll be able to sentence her for that maximum of 3 years. She'll probably do 15 months, but if they were to give her the 18 months in jail, she'd probably do 6 months. She might even do 3 months. And so being able to add those charges, or it's like an aggravated clause. It's like she committed these acts and she did them in her house. She did them knowing that there was whatever they come up with, the definition on why.
Muffy, chill.
Yeah, and one thing that the DA's office did in their press conference is that they said Crystal Lee deserves every day in jail the judge will give her. And so those are very strong statements. Not that the judge watches the press conference and will make any decisions based on the press conference, but because the judge will move in the favor of the state most of the time. They will listen to the state most of the time when it comes to sentencing. That doesn't always mean they're going to listen to the state. It doesn't always mean that they're going to go along with what the state says. It's not that they're going to add any additional charges. It's like a little extra clause. It's like an extra clause among the... Oh, look, I just got crashed by my daughter. I think both Patrick and Crystal... Well, Patrick will be harder to bring a wrongful death lawsuit because he's never going to have a life, right? So if they bring a wrongful death lawsuit against Patrick, I guess they could put a lien against all his property. They could put a lien against... and I think they could bring a wrongful death suit and add Omar Fraze in there too. And if they brought a wrongful death suit against Patrick and Omar, they probably could get Patrick's mom's property in that suit. So it's let's go back to Crystal. Crystal is not going to have extra charges. They're not going to they're not just going to do away with her deal. They are literally just adding a clause to it that they allowed, right? They said, "Hey, we've charged her with a 6th-degree felony of tampering with evidence. If we find that there is evidence that the Colorado allows them to do what they call make this an aggravated charge, and adding that aggravated charge is what's going to give them the ability to give her 3 years. The charge in and of itself doesn't carry a maximum of 3 years. It carries a maximum of 18 months. And so it's just a little extra. It's a little added, a little icing on the cake that they can use. They are absolutely, without a doubt, like I said, we've had this information come from within inside the DA's office. I know people don't believe me, but it's okay. You tell me how many times we've been wrong and we've told you we've been right. And so we've been watching this case from the get-go. We've had people talking and whispering and all the whole time. I'm telling you, the aggravation charge is coming. It will be discussed on December 2nd at the hearing. Yes, we'll be at the hearing. I don't want to have to answer that question again. We're going to follow this thing through. We're going to watch her be sentenced. It'll be good. My daughter keeps crashing my videos. I read that the father left his inheritance to Patrick's child, and that would be Kelsey's baby. Yes. There is some sort of inheritance that goes with Kaylee. There is also a fight that was going on between Sean Frazee, Aaron Frazee, and Patrick Frazee for some inheritance money. Looks like the Sean and Aaron got what they wanted. Their brother's going to jail, which means it's going to be a lot easier for them to collect that money now. Federal charges would be a decision by federal law enforcement, the FBI. They would have to establish federal jurisdiction. I'm curious if the plea deal included federal crimes. She is not going to be charged federally. The FBI, the feds, the U.S. District Attorney, they're not going to come after Crystal in any more extra charges. She's not going to be charged with federal crimes. I know people think that because a petition was signed or a change.org petition got signed by a couple thousand people that they're going to all of a sudden bring more charges against her. You have to understand that her deal, when you make a plea deal and you plead guilty to something, you waive your right to a trial, but you also waive the rights of the DA to add additional charges. They can't come to you and say, we're giving you a plea deal, and then all of a sudden you make a plea deal, you testify, you hold up your end of the bargain, and then they say, oh yeah, by the way, now we're going to charge you with federal crimes. It's not how the judicial system works. It's kind of a double-edged sword, right? She got her deal done before she even said a word. And they didn't know what she was exactly going to say. They had an idea, but they didn't know exactly what she was going to say once her deal was done. But you can't just add. Yeah, homegirl had a smart lawyer. You can't just add charges, right? And that's what people kept saying. They were going to take away their deal. Actually, I know from firsthand experience, and it's set in precedent, that the only person who can back out on a deal once it's been brought by the state is actually the defendant. The people don't have the ability to take that deal back if they feel like that deal was the wrong deal. And so, but what they did was when they made the deal, they tried every which way to make sure that they could get her, and so they gave the option to add the aggravated to her charges. It would be like, you've been charged with tampering. That's what she's been charged with now.
Love you.
Love you.
I'll see you later.
See ya.
Zane at 3.
Zane at 3. Oh, down in the Springs. I gotcha.
You'll have to close this door.
Gotcha. I gotta close my doors. I'm gonna close the door. They gave themselves the option to add that aggravation because they knew they weren't gonna get her for all that extra stuff. Hey y'all, never sub. I'm hooked. Great work. Thank you. Oh, newer sub. Thank you for being a new sub. The mother is a piece of work. Oh, ma. Now, see, that would be... The real question would be, could they ever bring any more charges against old ma? At this point, I don't see that happening because of the way that this is all played out. And they, I believe they got Patrick. They got the right guy. I believe that they... gave him as much as they could give him when it comes to the charges. I'm actually trying to find some other footage I've been wanting to show you guys. KK Court Day. That's what we want. I'm pull back up my screen so I can see y'all's texts, y'all's chats. I doubt Omar would ever talk to me. Jamie, you're awesome. Thanks for putting that up there. Patrick has killed. Do you believe Patrick has killed before? I think Patrick's been a part of some murders. I don't know that he's actually committed the murders himself, but I do believe Patrick has been a part of some murders. I think there's a possibility Patrick was a part of something with his his dad. I don't want to be an attorney. I wonder about. Yeah, I've always wondered about the dad's death. And we started talking to people. And even to this point, let me tell you what, I've actually talked with, I have messages from Patrick's cousins who don't even know why and how Robert Frazee disappeared and died. And so, it concerns me that nobody really talked about that during the trial. They talked a little bit about it, but I think the aggravated charge can be added for a number of reasons. People are asking, what's the definition of the aggravated charge? I think that there are a bunch of different points that they can point to for the aggravated charge. They could look at the nature of the crime itself. They could look at what she did to help cover up the crime. I think they could have added the aggravated charge from the get-go with her testimony alone. The reason they didn't is because they wanted to keep her on the hook. And it's almost like a little bargaining chip for him that if she wouldn't testify, then automatically they were going to add that. But I think the plan all along from the DA's office was to make sure she does as much jail time that she could possibly do. And so I think there's a number of markers that they could use to add those. And that's kind of how Dan May described it when he was talking about it. He was like, if we feel like this meets an aggravated, or if it meets the definition of that aggravated, then I think that it could definitely meet those aggravated circumstances. And I don't think that they ever were going to let her walk free. They had to give the appearance of it, and that's why Dan May never called her the devil until the verdict came in. You know, he knew they made a deal with the devil the second he heard the story. But when it became evident that they were going to have to use her testimony, and I'm still not convinced about that, by the way. I feel like if the police had done a little bit more at the front end of this, they would have been able to get Patrick even without Crystal. Everybody says, oh, it's only because of Crystal they were able to get Patrick. I don't think so. I think if they would have looked into this a little bit more and they would have gotten some testimony from some of his friends and heard these stories about him talking about killing Kelsey, they could have got Patrick without Crystal. Now, would they have been able to get a conviction? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know that necessarily we have heard the true story of what happened. We heard enough of a story of what happened to convict him, but you have to understand there are a lot of things about Crystal's stories that are just weird, that don't add up. Not saying they didn't happen that way, not saying that they couldn't have happened that way. It's just there's some things, there's some real things that don't necessarily add up when we're talking about that. And so what I should do right now is I actually should pull up the press conference. Y'all remember the press conference that happened? The press conference was the one where she actually, or the fainting goat press conference is the actual press conference of Crystal Lee when
else that had already been accomplished. I know that actually the media has been asking about that particular photo. That is available through the Colorado Springs Police Department. So they're the ones who did that, photograph and fingerprinting. So if you want to contact them, I'm told they may be putting it out.
It's out now.
Oh, it is out.
It's out. It's on their Twitter account.
It's on their Twitter account, and that's really making it available to the team.
What is Crystal's demeanor then? What is Crystal's demeanor then as you enter to this?
Again, I can't speak about things off the record. You saw her demeanor today. You can elaborate on that as I can.
Can you say whether or not she was threatened by the
Again, I can only state what was put on the record. It's not put on the record today. The question that you asked.
Assuming she does what she's supposed to do, testify in future trials, anything for the things, and she's cooperative, assuming she meets all those things, is your office likely to put in a good word for her sentencing? Is there anything like that?
Again, the only thing that was put on the record is, by Colorado law, this particular charge is a charge that carries no mandatory sentence at all. It is something that will be totally up to the judge. And the court noted on the record that both sides will have an opportunity at her sentencing to express our opinions on what she ought to face. Ultimately, it's up to the presumptive range of up to 18 months in prison, the aggravated range up to 3 years in prison, and then again, that's strictly Colorado law.
Can you explain what the aggravated part of that means?
Personally, how would you describe this?
Say that again.
Personally, how would you describe this case? Personally, how would you describe this case?
Personally, how would I describe this case? It's a pretty broad question. I'm not sure if everybody knows.
In terms of its priority for your, well, I mean, I'm just trying to get something about, this is obviously a tragedy, you're investigating it, something that's not official.
I want to get to where he describes the
I know that I
aggravated part.
previously talked, certainly when Kelsey was a missing person, we were all hoping this would end much more favorably than it has at this point. It's a horrible tragedy for the family, horrible tragedy for the community. Obviously, it's caught the attention of the party, people across the country, and actually maybe across the globe. So I've already expressed that on the record. At the time that we were hoping to find her alive, and unfortunately, it didn't.
Can you explain a bit about the aggravating factors, what that means, and how a court might determine whether they exist or not?
Sure. Under Colorado law, in our sentencing scheme, he asked just to explain what our sentencing scheme like of aggravating versus presumptive versus mitigating actually also. Under Colorado law, every felony is divided into felonies from 1 to 6, and each one carries a certain range. Under Colorado law, we have what's called a presumptive range, and that's sort of what is presumed the judge would do in normal sentencing, sort of comparing it to other cases, other factors in it. That would be the presumption of what that sentence would be. And then in this case, that is up to 18 months in prison. And it would also include, I guess, the presumptive range for, which is a halfway house, or probation. The judge specifically said it would include a halfway house, for instance, up to 18 months. If the judge should find extraordinary aggravation, which is defined under Colorado law, then it would permit the judge to go to the aggravated range, which in this case would be up to 3 years in prison. But again, the judge would actually have to factually find under our law that there is extraordinary aggravating factors. Even with finding that, it is not mandatory that the judge give a sentence in the aggravated range. It's still in the end up to the judge. So even finding factors like that, the judge could give any sentence that he feels is appropriate at that time, anywhere from probation on up to 3 years if he found those factors. If he did not find extraordinary aggravating factors, then by law he's not allowed to go above 18 months.
Can you describe your negotiation among your own team, how you settled on this one charge? Did you consider other charges? Did you weigh her value as, cooperating with your prosecution? Can you talk about?
All right. So there you go. That kind of gives a quick, brief understanding of those aggravated charges as Dan May gives them. What Dan May just said is that the judge is going to actually have to find those aggravated in the law. So listen, if he can't find aggravated charges when it comes to the murder of Kelsey Barrett for Crystal, then his soup's out of the bowl. His cereal hasn't been poured right. No one could sit in that room and listen to the testimony of what happened and not add these aggravated charges. And so I pulled this up not because I wanted you guys to, not because it's the best audio or the best coverage of the live video or anything, or of the live conference, but because I wanted you to hear Dan May himself. The aggravated charges fall on the judge. They don't fall actually on the DA's office, but what I've heard from inside the DA's office is the DA is pushing for these aggravated charges to be added. And if the judge then goes and finds within Colorado law that the circumstances was aggravated, then obviously he's going to add those charges. I think after watching that Patrick's but after watching the demeanor of the judge, the way he sentenced her, and the way that went down, I believe that it will be without a doubt. Oh, here's the shot of the fainting goat. If you never watched The Officer, if you see the short hair officer to the left of Dan May, that short hair officer is going to go down in this video. She faints right during this press conference. It was kind of a crazy moment. Thus she got the there she goes. Boom, she just went down right there in the press conference. It was crazy. They called a end to the press conference after that. So everybody knows that was during the KK press conference. If anybody hadn't seen that, this was a sheriff's officer that just fainted during the press conference. She didn't eat her Wheaties that morning. She hadn't eaten. She was very lightheaded. So during that press conference, Dan May describes how those aggravated charges can be added, and they can come from I need to kill this video though. Arr! How do I kill my video source? Where's me? Oh, that's why I need to just turn this one off. Sorry about this, guys. A little technical difficulties going on here. There we go. I hope it explains a little better. It's more from the judge than it is Dan May. It's going to come from the judge looking at the Colorado law, looking at this case, and deciding, hey, this is extenuating circumstances. This is what she did. Definitely believe the aggravated charge will be added by the judge, which will then give the judge, if he adds, let's be honest, if he adds the aggravated charge, it is because he wants to give her more time in jail. And so Dan May said it live during the press conference. Crystal Lee deserves every day that the judge gives her in jail. And so, Crystal, you better get your shit together because you're going to jail for 3 years. And so it is going to be thumbs up or down, please. I missed the live chat with D-Wop and JS for Justice. Well, Judy, you're going to have to go back and listen to it. It's live on the interweb. We're just kind of discussing Crystal Lee and what she could or couldn't face when it comes to the aggravated charge of her plea deal. This woman is a monster, or as Dan May described, the devil. And right now, the charges she faces only carry a sentence of 18 months in jail. But the judge will have a chance to add what they call aggravating circumstances. And if he finds aggravating circumstances under Colorado law, he can add that, and then all of a sudden the maximum penalty goes up to 3 years. So it's going to be a good day. Thank you, Jamie, for posting my PayPal link. No one is obligated to give, but you guys have been very gracious through this trial to help give some gas money and some coffee money. So I want to thank everybody for that. If you want to give, you can give directly to that link that Jamie has posted in the chat. If you don't want to give, you don't have to give. So another interesting news that has come out, well, not interesting, but another kind of exciting news that has come out is that there are multiple networks and multiple production houses that are coming to Woodland Park, and they are going to do, I think there's going to be a couple of things done. I think there's going to be a feature-length film done about this case. I think there's going to be a drama doc, and then I believe that there's going to be a very good 16-part docu-series that's going to be put out that will look at literally all the stories that have been happening around this case. And as of right now, Dad with the Phone is scheduled to help with a couple of those productions. JKTV Justice, don't you ever feel obligated to give. Say a prayer for us. If you can't give financially, you can always go over to my Facebook, Dad with the Phone on Facebook. There's a page and a group. You can join the group, but on the page, it'd be awesome if you could give me a review of what you think about me. Golden Girl, Drama Deb. Me and Drama Deb, I got into it a little bit at the courthouse. Not a bad, I didn't get heated or anything. I just was like, quit talking to me, woman. She kept trying to talk to me like we were friends. And I was like, you said some really bad things about me online. You shouldn't. Don't come at me now as whatever. So she did give me a bracelet. I'll thank her for the bracelet. There you go. Do tell, somebody said. I don't know what you want me to tell. So, it's been crazy. This thing's not going to slow down. People thought that because they had handed out a verdict to Patrick that this thing was going to slow down. This thing's just going to pick up with Crystal's side of things. And December 2nd, Crystal is scheduled for a hearing. And I believe in that hearing, we're going to hear more about whether or not they're going to add this aggravated charges to her. I know it's coming. I promise you guys. If I wouldn't tell you this if I couldn't tell you and believe that it was going to happen. I don't want people to come back and say, "See, Dad was wrong." We have it on pretty good authority that I thought it was the DA going after him, but after listening to Dan May, I think what they're saying is the DA is going to suggest to the judge that they look at the aggravated charges. It looks like the judge has to make that determination based on Colorado precedent that's been set. If there hasn't been precedent set that this could be an aggravated charge, then this case in and of itself should set a new precedent when it comes to helping with a murder and setting a precedent of letting a girl walk free, letting Crystal Lee Kinney walk around free, go to rodeos and go on vacation just days after she helped clean this thing up. Setting the precedent that way is not the smart thing. So I would employ the judge. I would employ them to go after this aggravated charge under whatever circumstances you can find in Colorado law. But you do not need to let Crystal Lee Kinney walk free. And Crystal, I know you watch me, girl. I know you watch Dad with a phone. I know your nurse friends watch Dad with a phone. You're going to jail. There's going to be a big smile on my face when they sentence you to prison and they walk you out of that jail in handcuffs. Oh, yes, you're going to jail. You'll no longer be protected by the deal. You'll no longer be protected by your testimony that they need. And so, yeah. Yep. That's going to happen, folks. We're going to watch it go down. Tell her she's a POS. Well, there you go. There's a link to the J is for Justice YouTube that we did the other day. It was like a 3-hour freaking live chat. And me and Jay will probably do some more updates. We'll definitely do some updates around Crystal's sentencing. 3 years is nothing for what she's done, but yes. You're late, Sky. You're late. You have to go back and watch it. My ears were burning. Of course they were, Jay. Good morning. I'm drinking coffee. And we're talking Crystal Lee. Crystal Lee Kinney. The conspirator. This woman. The devil. Have you ever met the devil in the pale moonlight? Today we're going to do a live video. You want to make sure to stay tuned on my Facebook later today. We'll be doing a live video directly from the memorial bench set up for Kelsey. Many of you have seen a picture that I posted online. That picture was taken from a friend of mine who sent it to me. She had gone and got a coffee and a rose and a candle to put at the memorial. They have set up a bench in Village Loft Park, which is the park directly behind the condos in which Kelsey lived. Many of you have seen that video that I put online of the bench. Today, later, we'll be doing a Facebook Live, probably a little prayer there by the bench to just, you know, just to bring some, just to bring good thoughts, really, just to continue to follow this, to keep Kelsey at the forefront of this, and oh, I do need to push play, Kelly Max, on that whole video too. Yeah, make sure to go find me on Facebook. Can Jay stream DWAP live, please? Oh, you want to know if Jay can stream for the bench? Jay can stream anything that I put out. She knows that. She don't even have to ask permission. She wouldn't ask permission anyway. She would just do it. J is for Justice. They don't have Facebook. I told you, Jay, you could stream it. You put it on your YouTube channel. We'll definitely post that later today. Probably I gotta let it's freaking cold outside right now, guys. Like yesterday, 60 degrees and beautiful. Today, freaking cold. Yes, Jay can stream. She'll probably get a strike, though. Somebody will report her. I'm looking for my lighter. I need to light some sage. Got this woman on the freaking... got this woman on the screen. Makes me feel a little weird, so I need to light some sage for you guys real quick. Give y'all a little sage light. What the heck? Come on. That's a nonsense. I gotta go find a lighter. Can't get my sage lit. What is up with that? If I can get my sage lit. Give y'all a little smudging. Oh, come on. See that nonsense? Guess y'all gonna have to go without the sage. Y'all need to go take a bath after this one. With that girl's face on the screen so long, probably give my channel a bad name. But, gosh, it drives me nuts. Anyway, we'll go with it. I don't know what time. What time we all want to do? Let's. It's 10 o'clock. It's 10:30 now. I gotta be careful though. If I freaking announce the time, there'll be the troll police will be waiting for me. Light it from the stove. I have a y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna go find me a good lighter real quick. See if this thing works. Absolutely. Absolutely works. Here we go. Good morning, Kai, Kendra, and the likes. You need to cash out that PayPal, $1.99 for all the new lighters. I need some new sage. My sage getting down to the all my smudging of you guys. Get this baby good and lit. Give y'all a good smudge. Oh, there you go. Now y'all gonna be all. Oops, a little bump, a little too hard. That should take care of all the bad juju for y'all. If you didn't hear, I announced earlier today that early on we got contacted by a couple of production homes and production houses that are going to come in and do docu-series and do stories on this. Yesterday, received a phone call from 2 production houses that had contacted us previous. This morning I spoke with one of them, really the one I want to be a part of. Because there is, they're going to do like a full season on this alone, like the Making of the Murderer season. They're going to do a full season on this case, and not only I think will I end up doing some interviews with them. I think I want to help them tell the complete story as far as anything local, any information that I can help with locally to get them stuff. Put them in contact with people. I want them to be able to do that, and so so it should be good. It's always weird because people have already started getting upset. No one should profit on this. They shouldn't do this. You have to understand that every news station that has reported has been profiting off Kelsey's death. Every newspaper that has printed an article has profited off this. And so there is a fine line on how and when and why people should do this. The reason this story should be told is because there are other women right now that are being manipulated, abused, taken advantage of, like Kelsey was. And if Kelsey's story can bring a warning to any of those women, if Kelsey's story can be an encouragement that, man, if you hear some craziness, like somebody's going to kill somebody, then say something. You're not going to get in trouble for saying something about a potential murder that may or may not happen. The best thing that could have happened, KK could have been a hero. Do you realize that? Like, that girl could have been a hero. And if she would have called the police the second Patrick asked her to do something, yeah, he may not have gone to jail for murder, but he could have gone to jail for solicitation. They could have put him away for 25 years. And so the whole thing could have been avoided. We should never even be talking about this case. This is one of the cases, not like the Watts case that happened boom, 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 right? The killing, the confession, the sentencing, the jail, right? It happened boom, 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 boom. And then people just went off on it. This thing could have been avoided years ago. Literally years ago, this thing could have been stopped. And it wasn't. And so if there's any hope or any significance or anything that can come from somebody doing a docu-series, when does local PD not mess with him? Who are y'all talking about? Oh, shit, they mess with me all the time. Did y'all see Officer Chief Miles DeYoung's little interview? I'm not gonna bag on I'm not gonna bag on the cops too much this morning. But listen, they got a reality show going right now about the Teller County cops. Okay, the Teller County cops are trying to profit off this. The Woodland Park PD is trying to profit off this. Everybody's trying to get their little 15 minutes of fame. And I'll tell you right now, I would much rather have been just talking about the deer and talking about the bad politics in this town. There's a lot of locals. I met a local at the courthouse the other day. I won't call him. I got to go see him today because he wants me to help him out with his business here. I met a local. It's not in meet a local business owner. Local business owner came up to me at the courthouse the other day and was like, "Man, where have you been on the underground? I haven't seen your underground channel." I said, "You need to check out my Dad with the Phone channel." He's like, "Man, I can't follow all this murder stuff." And I said, "I know." I would have much rather be talking about the deer in town and the politics in town than have been talking about a murder in this town. And so I'm going to talk about it now because I've given my Thanksgivings over to this thing. In other words, there will never be another Thanksgiving that goes by that we don't think about Kelsey Barrett. There'll never be another Thanksgiving that goes by that I don't remember driving past her house on Thanksgiving. People, I don't know how close I was, but I know that I drove past Kelsey's house at 12:30 on Thanksgiving Day. I know I then drove by her house again at 4:30 going to Thanksgiving dinner. Those are stories that happened at the very same time that we were all eating Thanksgiving dinner as Kelsey Barrett was being beat to death by Patrick Frazee. And so you should never sit down at Thanksgiving dinner. You should never come together with your family and not just take a moment to pray for Kaylee, take a moment to pray for Cheryl Barrett. And I hope for the next 3 Thanksgivings, this woman, the woman on the screen right now, the devil herself, as Dan May would call her, I hope the next 3 Thanksgivings, actually it'll probably be not this Thanksgiving, this is her last Thanksgiving for the next 3 years to be with her family. That's what I hope. This case has touched the world. People from around the world are watching. Right now, there are people on this YouTube video, whether live or a replay, they're watching from around the world. I hope that you will never, ever, ever, ever forget Kelsey Barrett. As long as you live. And for the children that watch this 100 years from now, and you're like, is that a big-ass Colorado joint? No, this is just sage. Just need a little bit. Every time we take Crystal off the freaking screen, we're going to have to sage my camera. Because I don't want y'all to go through nothing crazy. Sage myself. Sage myself up. I wish they could just split Patrick's sentence with Crystal. Just give her a fraction of the 156 years. You know? That's sage, officer. That's what I should have told that Teller County. I smell weed. That's sage, officer. That's a good line. I hope these docuseries do, especially the one I'm going to talk to, I'm going to try to talk them into it. I'm going to be like, there was so many stories that were going on around this case. You know, we need to do a section on Sam. We need to do a section on Old Ma. We need to do a section on the internet story. We need to do a section on Dad with a phone. And by the way, I got some video of me being pulled over on my way to court. We should actually show that in your docuseries. Oh, God, can you imagine that sheriff's officer? How pissed she would be. The thing about those docuseries is they get to tell a lot more of a story than just a news broadcast. And so that's kind of why I'm excited about that, because they're going to they'll be able to give the intricate details. We'll be able to take them to the Evergreen station where they had that conversation with KK about the coffee. They'll be able to tell those stories and really bring to life what really went down here. Green Steel USA LLC says 56 years would be good for me. That's what I'm saying. The Women Department of Corrections in the state of Colorado is going to have a field day on this nasty biatch. She's going to rot in that Department of Correction every single day of her life. Hey, Crystal. Crystal, you watching, girl? They got a bed for you in Canyon City. Orange is the new black. That shit ain't even gonna, it ain't even gonna be a candle to what you're going to endure. You know what I know about the women's prison? You know what I know about women's prison? Is that there are a bunch of women in there. And you helped clean up the murder of a good mother. There are a bunch of moms in that prison system. Those mamas, they ain't gonna side with you, girl. You better hope you don't have Epstein's guards. Epstein didn't kill himself. Look it up. Nor did his guards. That's Mystic Mac there. Yeah. Canyon City's waiting for you, Crystal. the Department of Correction in Canyon City, they're waiting for you. And so I hope you're ready. They got your bed made. They're going to welcome you with open arms, Crystal. You know the torment that's got to be greater for Crystal is she has kids. And though I don't wish anything on her children, and her children are going to have she has generationally cursed her children, and that's terrible. She has opened her generations to come for curses. She will always be known as the grandma, the mother who helped clean up the Kelsey Barrett killing. And so, I think that there is punishment and karma that will be dealt from all angles at Crystal Lee Kinney. Whether she serves a day in jail or for generations, her children's children will talk about how great-grandma, helped with a murder in Colorado. So, Crystal, you may, by some miracle, you may by some fluke, you may by some corrupt act of Teller County, for all I know, you may not serve a day in jail. God, I hope I'm wrong. I hope you serve 3 years in prison. But if for some reason you don't ever serve a day in jail for the things you did in the Crystal Lee Kinney murder, or the things you did in the Kelsey Barrett murder, I hope, Crystal Lee Kinney, that for generations you serve a prison in your heart. I hope the bars in your heart are stronger than those of steel. And for generations, you'll be known in your family and your children's children's family. Someone who took a mother too soon. Because just like Cheryl Barris said, you may not have swung the bat, but you are just as guilty as Patrick Frazee. When they reference Bundy and Dahmer and Manson, added to that will be Frazee and Lee. You think about that for the rest of your life. You will forever be known in the same category as the most sick people who walk the face of the earth. You will forever be known by your legacies. Man, she's gonna... Sorry about that, folks. Sorry, I get worked up a little bit, See, I need a sage again, see? The sage got me worked up. I don't know what's up. The mamas in the prison system are gonna get you, girl. You're gonna need more than some sage to protect you. It's Apple Snapple, and she's new here. Or he, I don't know if you're a he or a she, but thanks for joining, Apple Snapple. We've been talking about Crystal Lee Kinney. What's gonna happen? What's next? Look at that. We got 2 down thumbs. 160 people watching, and I can only get 77 likes. Damn. You guys are cold-hearted. Cold-hearted. $167 people watching. I got 80 likes. Y'all as cold as Crystal Lee. I'm teasing. My name's Michael, by the way. For all you new folks, I'm also go by Dad with a Phone or you can also find me on the Woodland Park Underground. I started following the Kelsey Barrett case just a few days after it was made public. I was at every press conference. I live down the street from where Kelsey Barrett was murdered by Patrick Frazee. I've been in this community over a decade, and I've raised my children here. I have 3 children and a wonderful wife. So if you're brand new to Dad with a Phone, that was the quick introduction. You can go over to Facebook. I spend a lot more time on Facebook. Zuckerberg pays me a little better than the YouTube, and so I spend a little bit more time on Facebook. But I'm trying to do more and more over here on the tube. I keep saying that like every YouTube video I do, but really I don't do any more over here. So, but today you got a special report. This video is about Crystal Lee. We watched some of the press conference. We talk about the aggravated charge that could be added to Crystal's charges. So when they charged her with the 6th-degree felony, which, let me explain something, because I've done this a lot, but people don't seem to fathom her deal. In Colorado, they have 6 degrees of felonies. That's 5. This would be 6. 6 degrees of felonies. They have charged Crystal Lee Kinney with the 6th-degree felony, which is the lowest degree of felony that you can be charged with in the state of Colorado. To put that in perspective, if you were to steal a phone, or someone gave you a stolen iPhone, if someone gave you a stolen, actually, if they gave you a stolen iPhone 6, because let's say that iPhone's only worth $75, but it's stolen. And you take that stolen iPhone and you say, you know what? I need some money. And I'm going to take this to a loan shark, a pawn dealer. And you sell that phone to that pawn dealer, you will be charged with more of a felony than Crystal Lee Kinney was charged with for helping kill Kelsey Barrett, helping cover up what Patrick Frazee did, helping destroy evidence. If you were to take that cell phone and give it and sell it to a pawnbroker, you would be charged with more of a felony than what happened to Crystal Lee Kinney. So I want to put that in perspective now. And then, okay, there is a Colorado law that says a judge, if he finds that Crystal Lee Kinney charges are horrendous, or like her actions were horrendous, or there's a law that precedents that, hey, we need to add something to this deal, they gave the judge the ability to add circumstance. It's not really adding an extra charge, but it's like putting icing on the cake. It's like topping her charges off with a cherry. And so we employ the judge that the rest of society thinks Crystal should do at least a minimum of 3 years in jail. We know that you can't give her any more, Judge, but we are pleading with you that if you will add that aggravated charge to the devil herself. I always knew the devil was a female. And the 4th Judicial District, Dan May, DA, said it himself. We made a deal with the devil. And so, Judge, we plead with you to add that aggravated charge so that she'll do 3 years in prison. Well, Marie Marcus, I want you to understand something. You don't need a Facebook to go watch my Facebook videos. If somebody will just put a link up to my Facebook, you can actually go look at my page just in a web browser and you can see some of those videos. So there you go. But yes, I understand. I should do more YouTube videos. I wish there is a way that I could just do live videos and I can actually stream them both to YouTube and Facebook. And I probably should do that for y'all's sake. But for me, I'm just a dad with a phone. And so sometimes it's easier just to go live on Facebook because they have a better platform. Somebody else, y'all need another sage, don't y'all? That's what I thought. After that little rant with Dad. By the way, you guys have been sending me some really nice notes. And I tell people that I don't even consider you guys. I do these videos for history's sake. Like, it's cool that you guys are watching live, but the truth is this will be around 100 years after I'm dead and gone, and my grandchildren's children's children will watch them and go, look at our crazy granddad. And that gives me more hope and more joy than a lot of what happens. But recently I've received some very kind, heartfelt letters from people on Facebook that have sent me messages. And it's like all the accolades you need sometimes. So, oh, Wooly says yes, do simultaneous live streams. Why wouldn't you? Anyway, what else? Have I missed a bunch of questions, or have y'all been answering the questions for yourself? Number 2 and number 4 felon is just, it should have been. Yeah, right. Throw your hands up for Jay. Get your hands raised. Perfect. Well, look at that. I got 2 dislikes and 115 likes. That's about more like it, kids. I know there's about 25 people on here that don't even want a record of them saying that they were here. I understand. So, if you're just joining, we've been talking about this devil. I like calling her the devil better than I do any other name because the devil's about as bad as you can get, right? Even when we mention Dahmer and Manson and Bundy and Frazee, those are all got connotations in and of themselves. But none of them carry the weight of the devil. And so when Dan May said we made a deal with the devil, that's as heavy as he could get. And you got to enjoy that. Dan May telling the truth about the devil. Yeah, that's what y'all should look up. Don't be looking up. Hey, one of you internet hackers, one of you internet, geniuses out there, can we get the Wikipedia definition of the devil changed? And can we add Crystal Lee Kenny next to the definition on Wikipedia of the devil? I think that would be fitting if one of you internet geniuses could figure out how to get enough people to publicly add to the definition of Wikipedia the devil and a photo of Crystal Lee Kenny. See, all your messages are getting held for review. Green Steel USA LLC. When you start doing all them emojis. Jason Barry. Do you know me publicly? Have we ever met Jason Barry? Because I became friends with a Jason Barry on Facebook thinking that it was my childhood friend. And then it turned out it wasn't my childhood friend. And then I found my real childhood friend. So I'm wondering if one of my childhood friends, Jason Barry, is in the house. Oh, good. Somebody go and add Crystal Lee Kenny to the definition of somebody go add Crystal Lee Kenny to the definition of the devil on Wikipedia. I'm gonna have to Google that afterwards and see if that's been added. See if my children have been obedient children. Yeah, we don't let nobody disrespect nobody in here. They don't last long in here. J is for Justice has a wrench, so she will bring the hammer of the wrench down. And then there's a couple other wrenches, but I only have a few wrenches in any of my chats. But we have pretty nice people. I can send you to some other channels though that don't have nice people. If you need all that drama in your life, there is plenty of drama channels, girl. And we can send you in the direction of a good drama channel. You know what's funny is, like, I don't mind mentioning drama channels or this, that, and the other, but a lot of those drama channels that originally were drama against dad, they have all now reached out trying to get me to come on their shows, and I'm like, Did you forget? I don't have no problem coming on shows. So any of the drama channels that want to do a live, hey, I'm coming pretty hard right now. I'm feeling pretty good with live videos and got my setup back and running. So any of you drama YouTube channels that want to get a dad on your show, let me know. You guys know how to get a hold of me. Send me a quick message on Facebook, YouTube, or hell, y'all got my cell number. I've been getting phone calls from people every morning now. I have been getting a phone call from someone wants to talk to dad with a phone every morning. I don't know how I feel about that, but remember, every phone ping can be traced. You can't hide it. We will get you with the pings. Nasty people. I'm calling you tomorrow. Uh-oh. Laura's been she wants her privileges back. Laura, you're here. Look, you haven't been run off YouTube. You should be happy. Sometimes now it's just more amusing for me. Miss K. Wagner. I want to comment again, but see, now it's become now it's just like a love-hate relationship thing. So now it's like you're almost never gonna get your privileges back on Facebook, because now you'll have to become like a strict YouTube follower of dad. And I know that makes you mad and you're upset about that, and you have people screaming at me about that. I don't even know why you were originally blocked, but whoever blocked you, whether it was me or one of the admins or the moderators, you guys have made it fun for me, because I always can count on Lori Wagner to give me to somehow find a way to get a message to me. She's gonna hate me for that. She'd probably be cussing me right now. I'm gonna do a quick sage of the screen. I've been having that devil on there long enough, so let me do a quick sage of the screen to keep us all safe from the devils. It's the devil inside you. It's a good one there. Whew. Got a little sage contact high there. Running right up my nose. By the way, I'm not even into this crap. This is all my wife and people. There's this awesome lady here in Woodland Park that brings my wife sage. If you think I'm into, I do that for you guys. That's for entertainment purposes only. Dad does not worship, condone, or even think that sage does anything but smell good. So, just so you guys know that. It's Apple Snapple. Dad with a phone, question mark, question mark. Nope, I never cuss. You always stick up for you, buddy. Dad with the phone. Emoji world. Why the hell is she only doing 3 years? She's as sick as he is. I know, man. We should be able to take his 156 years. So when Patrick Frazee dies in jail, we should be able to take the remaining of his sentence and divvy it out among people. So let's say how many years would you give? Who are we dealing out Patrick's sentence to? First of all, so if you think someone was involved and we only have 150, we're not taking away Patrick's life sentence, but let's say we could divvy out his 156 years. Who would we divvy out those 156 years to? How many years? Now, we can't give them all away to KK, or we can. How many years should we give Crystal Lee Kinney in jail? Put your answers right in the comments right now. How many years? You have to draw from the 156 years that they gave Patrick on top of his life sentence. So, draw from those years. Put your comments up there. How many years does KK get? And then how many years does Omar get? How many years does anyone else you think that was involved in this? So 80 years for KK. She gets 100 of those years. 57 years. Okay. Okay, so who else gets years? And you could put a little asterisk next to the years for whatever, for whoever. But Ma gets 35 years, someone says. Ma's getting 56 years. 50 years for old Ma. Half Ma, half KK. Happy birthday, Jay. There you go. Ma's getting 50. Old Ma's getting 50. KK's getting 50. Anybody else? Friends are getting 30 asterisk. Bob Shagel's getting 50. 100. 150. There you go. People are... my phone is at 5%. Judy, plug it in. Plug it in, because we in the computer right now. I don't think YouTube's going to cut me down. I got a real good, strong signal. Hey, thanks to Peak Internet. Hey, this is a shout out to Peak Internet in Woodland Park, Colorado, created by a Woodland Park local. And I got a fiber line running to my house, and YouTube hasn't kicked me off yet. Thank you, Peak Internet. That was not paid for, unless you want to knock off my bill this month, Peak. Is the 3 years for this the tampering? Yes. If you go watch this video, I know I'm long-winded, but I do there's a whole little segment. Somebody could give you the time up in the dates or the timestamp. There's a whole little segment about what she's been charged with. But to put this in the simplest, dumbest down terms, if you defrauded a pawnbroker, like if you sold the pawnbroker or you lied to a pawnbroker when you sold him something, you would have committed more of a crime than what they charged KK with. All right? So don't lie to your pawnbroker. Hey, that's a shout out to the Woodland Park pawn people. You guys know I love you. And they're watching this video. There's a couple of employees there that watch my videos. So shout out to the Woodland Park pawn people. And don't lie to your pawnbroker, because you'll get more of a crime than what KK was charged with. This is not to be confused with what she actually did. That woman helped kill someone. According to Cheryl Barrett, she's as guilty as Patrick Frazee. She may just not have swung the bat. So, Dan, I love you. But we've heard Beyonce say, I made a deal with the devil. We've heard R. Kelly say, I made a deal with the devil. We've heard, what's the new dude? What's his name? What's that dude? Who is he? Who's the dude who just met Jesus, going on the Jesus tour? What's his name? Oh God, I've gone blank. Is that's Kanye West? Kanye West met Jesus. He made a deal with Jesus. But at one point, Kanye West made a deal with the devil. So, Dan May, you made a deal with the devil. Where does that put you, bro? you better make a deal with Jesus and get this woman 3 years. If all we can get her, I think, I don't think the devil makes 3 years in Canyon City. A lot of them mamas follow Jesus in prison now. Hey, KK, in Canyon City, there's a lot of moms in prison who are following Jesus. They're not too fond on the devil. Hey, Dan May. Dan, get her a bed in Canyon City. 3 years. Let Jesus do the rest. All right. You're so funny. Am I funny or am I just annoying? Either way, working on some stand-up routines. Can she be charged in Idaho for anything? I would think. Wouldn't you think the Idaho cops would be like, we've got a murderer among us. Let us cash in. Hey, Idaho, y'all need to cash in on KK, all right? Charge her with something. Damn, they harass me around here. All right, I get pulled over every time I pull out my driveway. Can y'all pull KK over for something? Plant some shit on her? Jeez. You'll be heroes, even if you planted it. It doesn't matter. If you plant cocaine on KK and take her to jail for cocaine, the Idaho cops, you will be heroes. Nobody wants that murderer walking around. I'm not saying do anything to her. I'm just kidding. These are jokes, by the way. Dad with the Phone is entertainment purposes only. The DA in the 4th Judicial District said it. It's on the record in the Patrick Frazee murder trial that Dad with the Phone is just the public. He is not media. So this is just for entertainment purposes only. Plant the same pain pills she gave Kelsey. Ooh. I have to turn on lights. Oh. God can change people. Yes. Jesus can change people. I actually believe that. But sometimes that change takes eternity. I tell people all the time I'm cursed with a long life. Because it's going to take me that long to get it right. And so, yeah, God is continuing to change people. So, KK, call up Kanye West. Kanye! Go meet KK in jail. Go lead her to Jesus. Now, that's funny. That's pretty funny right there. Y'all know y'all are laughing now. Kanye leads Crystal Lee Kinney to Jesus. Kanye leads the devil to Jesus. I can see the headlines now, Kanye. Dang. Dad with the Phone is on a roll. KK, this is about you. This whole YouTube video has been about you. It's been about you, KK. This whole case has been about you. Patrick Frazee went on trial. But make no mistake about it, yes. Dan May made a deal with the devil, maybe just to get a demon. Maybe he should have made a deal with the demon to get the devil. How many sermons around the world will be preached on Sunday about making a deal with the devil? The devil offered Jesus a deal one day. Y'all ever heard about this deal? This is not a joke by any means. This is as ancient history as it comes, okay? So, like, this isn't a joke. This isn't a story I'm making up. I am literally repeating from my mind a story of ancient history. There was a time that the devil came to Jesus and said, let's make a deal. True story. You know what Jesus did? He went into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. Maybe 30. Somebody can look that shit up. 3 times! Just like Patrick with Crystal Lee King. 3 times the devil came to Jesus to make a deal. I don't want to write the sermon for that Sunday morning preacher just yet, but there is something there. Don't make no deals with the devil, people. Don't do it. Dan May made a deal with the devil on earth. There's a lot of Jesuses in Canyon City Women Correction Facility. I promise you that. The first time that devil tries to make a deal with someone in that Canyon City Women's criminal justice system, oh, goodness gracious. Crystal Lee, you better study up on the orange is the new black. White girls in prison? Big white girls in prison? The glare. My glare videos. I want me to turn off the moon. Oh, that's some funniness. Do you read the messages later after you're live? I never read my clippings, Randy, but I just read yours. You should feel lucky. Oh! I really don't. Sometimes I stop and read them. I'm reading them right now. Jesus is king. It's not about him. It's about God. Trust and believe. Praise God for using Kanye. Yeah, love it. I knew that Kanye would get me going. Man, I love it. KK is divorced already, isn't she? No, Heather. That was Colorado, not Georgia. I'm reading some comments for whoever asked me if I read comments, but I don't read them all. He was in Joel Osteen's cult this past Sunday in Houston. I know. I love that, Heather. I'm gonna have to go watch that video. I saw that headline though. KK has the crazy dude that said slavery was a choice. God can change people. Do you think Patrick Frazee will appeal his sentencing? Finally. Who asked that? Green Steel USA, thank you for asking a question about the case. Somebody asked me about that today. Who was I talking to about that today? One of those production homes. The guys making the movies, the docuseries. We were talking about, do we think Patrick Frazee will appeal in this case? I feel like he would. I just don't know what the basis in which his appeal would be based. And so there's 100 ways he could go, right? The problem is that Patrick had every right to do whatever he wanted to change the course of this case. Had Patrick's attorney said, we need more time, right? They would have gotten more time. So they can't go to the defense is the one who dictates how fast a case goes to trial. And so the defense can't get up there and say we didn't have enough time to prepare a proper case, because they actually dictate. At any given time, they could have gone to judge and said, Judge, we need more time. The judge would have granted that time. So they didn't really do that in any time, shape, or form. They made a few arguments, and they were very clear when they made those arguments. They were like, they're dumping evidence on us as it comes, but they said, but we don't want to change the date of court yet. We're still wanting to go to trial. We're still going to be ready for trial. So the judge at any point would have given them an option, an out, a given. Hey, you need more time? No shit, you need more time, right? They could have had that. So they're not going to be able to appeal on the grounds that he didn't have good counsel. They didn't have enough time. There was too much dropped evidence, because at any one of these points in the trial, any one of these points, they could have just filed a motion to extend. And it would have been unprecedented if the judge denied that motion, because they had been so ready to go. So I think they will appeal. I do not know on what grounds they will have to appeal. And so I hope that answers. That's my answer for that question. Let's keep going. I like some questions. How did Ma just walk scot-free? Is my question. It's Apple Snapple. This is a question from Apple Snapple. What were you thinking when you came up with your Apple Snapple? I don't know. Why didn't old Ma get in trouble? I'm going to tell you why. Old Ma would die during a trial. And I don't mean by being harmed. She would die of natural causes. Old Ma's being eat up by bitterness. You ever seen anyone eat up by bitterness and hate? I've never sat and talked with Sheila Frazee. I've never had a conversation with her. I've been around conversations with her. I've been around those things. I have talked with a lot of people who have been around old Ma before the murder and before all this. I have watched and observed old Ma more than I've observed anyone else at court. She has been between Patrick and her, they have been very consistent. I have seen old Ma around town since the trial and since it started. I have seen video of people who have seen old Ma around town. Old Ma just wouldn't make it through a trial. She would never serve a day in jail because she would never make it through a trial. Father Time's going to get old Ma, and bitterness and hatred and whatever it is inside is it's far more greater a death or a punishment than any prison sentence would ever have been for old Ma. So there you go. I think people recognize that. And when people recognize that, the judge, the jury, the DA, they don't need to go after old Ma. She's probably going to end up, I don't know their financial state as far as the property they live on. Like, I don't know if she owns that outright and all she pays is utilities. I don't know if she has retirement from being a nurse. I don't know her financials. I don't know any of that information. But I do know that Patrick was there supposedly to take care of old Ma. I think there was this mutual weirdness that they were taking care of each other. And so I don't know that that's good, bad, or indifferent. 100 years ago, a grown man living with his mom would not have been, he wouldn't have ever left home unless he met a girl, right? Well, then he didn't even leave home when he met a girl. Because Patrick was not faithful in any way, shape, or form ever to Kelsey. As a matter of fact, it is in my belief that had Kaylee not been born, Kelsey would still be alive, because Kelsey would have figured out. I think Kelsey did figure out. I think that there was this sense of commitment to her child and the husband, or the father of her child, that kept her here. And I don't think it would have kept her here much longer. But had Kaylee never been born, this may have never happened, because she would have figured it out and taken off, been gone, right? but because of her faith, because of her commitment, because of her perfect heart, Kelsey left us early, you know? And so, I don't know what the question was. I was just rambling now. KK wanted him so bad. I don't know. Okay, so let's see if I can get back to live chats, because I know. What do you think made Patrick that list? What broke his craziness? What do you think made Patrick make the list? Are you talking about the snitch list? If you're talking about the snitch list, let me know that, Maria Marcus. If that's what you're talking about, I have. If you haven't, if you're talking about the snitch list, what do you think? Okay, I'm glad my late husband had great caring during this long illness. These are scary nurses, too evil. Mother is very controlling. I believe Patrick killed Kelsey for his mom. The child would had killed too eventually. Yeah, Maria Marcus said the snitch list. Well, I've already given my take on the snitch list. You should go watch a video. Is it on YouTube? I think it's on Facebook. If you don't have Facebook, it's called The Snitch. But just to put it, this guy's a professional. The guy who snitched on Patrick is actually a professional jailhouse snitch, in my opinion. And so, although I do not doubt that Patrick wrote that list, I do not doubt that at all. I don't doubt that one bit. I doubt the story in which how it came about. So I'll give you my quick take on the snitch list. I think that the guy who talked to Patrick, became buddies or whatever in the short amount of time they were together, he may have even been planted there. And actually circumstances that we now know could suggest that the snitch was planted in the jail to simply extract that hit list out of Patrick. And I'll explain. This guy's actually testifying in multiple cases about the same thing, about someone else wanting to kill witnesses in their case. He's doing this. So I talked about this in a joking manner the other day on Facebook, but the way I think that conversation went down, hey buddy, did you do it? Man, I'm innocent, Patrick says. Oh yeah, I understand. Well, hey bro, we love you around here. Thanks for getting us pizza every Saturday night. Hey bro, we would love for you to get out of here, man. We would love to see you go free. And Patrick's like, well, I'm innocent. I'm going to trial. And the snitch is like, well, man, if there's anything we can do to help, bro, let us know, Man, I know some people, and if you need, maybe, if you need someone to disappear until after trial, we could probably take care of that. And I think Patrick was stupid enough to be like, oh, really? You mean you can make people disappear? Yeah, bro, dude. That's what we do, man. We make people disappear, bro. Well, yeah, man. If Patrick's like, yeah, man, shit. You fucking make KK disappear. Well, cool, bro. Do you think that if we make KK disappear, you think that'll make your shit go away? Like you'll be able to get free? Well, do they got any other witnesses, man? Do you need anyone else to disappear? And Patrick's like, yeah, man. I need this dude. And then he's like, whoa, wait, dude. Whoa, dude. Whoa, chill, man. I'm fucking talking about killing some folks here. So, just a sec. Write this shit down here. Put down their name, their number, their address. I think this is how that situation went. I think that maybe not exactly, but in some way. And as soon as that dude had that list, he was, 1, I'm eBaying this shit. 2, man, I got like 5 charges in that other county. I bet I get off on that shit. Cool. Hey, guard, I need to speak with my attorney. And boom, Patrick sold down the river. I don't think the guy taking the list down ever had an intent to go out and kill 20 people or 17 people or however many people were on the hit list. I think the guy always wanted to get that information from Patrick so that he could get out of his charges. So, what do I think about the list? I think about the same thing the defense said about Patrick. My client is an idiot, but that doesn't make him a murderer. No, I think he's a murderer too. But he is definitely an idiot, you know? And so I think the same thing about about Patrick as the defense said about him in court. The idiot defense. And let me tell you, the idiot defense was a pretty good closing argument from the defense. And so, you know, I'll tell you, I thought it was a poor move by the defense. I mean, a poor move by the prosecution to bring this snitch into the equation. I think it didn't backfire, obviously, but I think it was only given a very little weight. And when I say it was given little weight, the prosecutors never even mention it in the closing arguments. And so it's not even mentioned in the closing arguments. It's actually mentioned by the defense in the closing arguments. And so they may have said one little thing about it, but you know, I don't think they said much about it because I don't think the prosecution took that much weight in it. I thought they thought it would play well with the jury. And so when they thought it would play well with the jury, they allowed it to play out. So there you go. Oh, I can't grab them. I was going to show you all the poster. Cheryl Bears, Kelsey's mom, has Facebook. You can read the comments plus the family and then Kelsey's brother's page. I'd love to speak with the family, but I won't ever reach out to them. I don't think it's even fair, you know. If there's 6 billion people on this earth, and if less than 1% of those people reach out to the family, like the news press and the media and all those things, the family is got to feel overwhelmed. And so I think that the family should be left alone. I think that the family should be unharassed. I don't even think anyone should talk to them. If they want to talk to people, they'll reach out to people. Any number of organizations would talk with the family as soon as that family reached out. And so although I think that there is a sense of us talking about it on a group and me having a discussion about it because it happened in my town is appropriate and in a manner in which it's kept. But I think once you bring the family into it, it's not a good thing. Don't harass the family in any way, shape, or form. And they know everyone loves them. That family is that family is dealing with a lot. Cool. Yeah, good. I answered your question, Maria and Marcus, about the snitch. Any more questions? I got 2 dislikes and 137 likes. I'm cool with that. That seems like good odds. Them dislikes. I love them faithful haters. Gotta love a faithful hater. So it's 11-ish, 30. I'm gonna take some time for a little bit, and then I'll probably smash Facebook with a live video from up at the bench, up at Kelsey's bench today. Today's been my first day time that I've been able to get over there, so I'm gonna ride the bike up and go say a prayer by Kelsey's bench I'll bring you guys in for something over on Facebook. Make sure to find me on Facebook. Thank you, Jamie, for putting that link up. And you don't even have to have a Facebook, by the way. If you just go to the I think you can just go to the Facebook without logging in. I think you just can't comment. You can still watch the videos. And maybe if I spend some time over there, maybe I'll do either try to do a simulcast, or I'll try to do 2 over there, just 2 short prayers at the bench, and go from there. So thank you, Jamie, for posting my links, and all of you guys for hanging out this morning. This video is all over the place. If you've made it here, you are awesome, and that's always fun. So did Frazee not have an interrogation? No. Thus the right of the American. You have the right to remain silent, because anything you say can and will be used against you. And everything Patrick said was used against him. So no, he didn't. Could you show us Nash Ranch? Yes, absolutely. Like nobody can. Let's do that right now. You want to see the Nash Ranch? Let's watch. Let's close this one out with a special exclusive live video from the Nash Ranch. Let's do it. If I can find it. Oh wait, it's cattle lease, right? That's what. Shoot. Let me go to. I'm gonna find it and I'll show it to you. List. Patrick's court date. Kelsey's murder. Oh, I hope it's not on my other drive. Probably could put up a link. I'm trying though. I'm sure it's in here. Cops fly over Patrick's house. Here, y'all watch this, and I'm gonna try to find the other one too. This is a video of Patrick's property. I'm gonna find the other one right now as we're talking. Oh, this is when the cops came and talked to me. Actually, they did not like that I was flying my drone. And then I'm gonna find the other video, so y'all just wait. They were talking to me about flying my drone. They were like, "You don't need to go any farther," and I was like, "Wait a minute, you guys don't govern the sky." They didn't like that very much. Not at all. Not at all. They did not like that. I was like, leave me alone. I'm trying to work here. But this is when KK was there. Y'all might see KK in this video. Pay attention. You might see KK in this video. This is going down the private road, private ranch thing. I'm trying to find the other video of the Nash Ranch, though. So y'all keep watching this one. Folders. I got lots and lots. I need to do a logging because I've already had to turn over footage. Oh, that was the end of that one? No. Oh, that was the end of that one, huh? Here we go. Press conference. Patrick's court date. Press conference. Presser. Patrick's leased land. There we go. That's what you want to see. Here's the lease final. So you'll see this is the Nash Ranch. I am going to go. Now, we went to this before. I went to this before we knew the story of the Nash Ranch. Okay. So there you go. I'm going to kill the audio to the video. So this was before we knew about the Nash Ranch, other than we knew something was going on there. We went there and we flew the drone. So this is Guffey, Colorado, and this is the town that is closest to the Nash Ranch. So the Nash Ranch is located just outside of Guffey, Colorado, which is directly west of Colorado. Now, this is inside the Nash Ranch right here. This driving in, this is part of the ranch, and we were headed up towards the red barn and the house, but then we ended up turning around because, well, we didn't know where the heck we were. We were out in the middle of nowhere. So this is all out in the Nash Ranch. This is what the Nash Ranch looked like. This was we went in December or January maybe. This is right outside the fence of the Nash Ranch. I took my little girls out there. We went for a little drive out there. So, and went and checked it out. And I'm going to show you, like this is on the road to the Nash Ranch where it was at on the way. So you can kind of understand the kind of country we're in. This is way out Colorado, like mountains of Colorado. When you hear about the mountains of Colorado, when you think about the mountains of Colorado, as far out as you could get, you could go into the Nash Ranch, you could start riding a horse, and you would literally be riding a horse for hundreds of miles into the national forest. And so this is obviously the drive out there. This is the front gate to one of the Nash Ranches. And what I want to make note of is these gates actually have cameras on them. And on as early as September or as late as September, Kelsey was seen on a four-wheeler driving around going through these gates. And you can see it says no trespassing private property. Violators will be prosecuted. I had permission to be out there by one of the owners. This ranch is owned by multiple owners, and we had permission to be out there, so we went out there just to look. It was really kind of freaky because at this point, we didn't know the significance of the Nash Ranch. We hadn't heard Crystal Lee Kinney's testimony yet. This was before the pre-trial. This was before Crystal Lee's testimony came out. So I want you to understand, I wasn't out there with a full understanding of the scope of what the Nash Ranch would play. I was out there because we thought, well, no one else has been out here. The FBI can't search this until they get who is this? Until they get all the warrants and stuff signed. So the Nash Ranch has multiple people that live on it. So you can see we opened the gate, we went through the gate, we drove back as far back into the Nash Ranch as we could. You can see the snow coverage. You go off into one of these snow banks, you're screwed, folks. And then what we did is we flew the drone, and what you're about to see is literally the vastness of this property. Somebody just texted me, needs a contact real quick. Nope, I don't have it. you'll see I do a 360 here in a second. This is obviously, it was snow covered there. If at any point something had happened on the Nash Ranch during, this is what they would have been going and looking in. It just would have been impossible. That is the Nash Ranch, folks, as far as the eye can see in basically any direction. That's Pikes Peak, far. That's Pikes Peak. To put that in perspective, the mountain you see off in the tail, but that right there, these fields and fields, these are the ranges in which Patrick had his cattle on. This is what he leased the Nash Ranch for, was what everything you see covered in snow, that's all grasses and wild grasses. You can kind of see a road that would cut through there. If you go out to the Nash Ranch, you will go for miles and miles. People have been talking about the secret flyover and the whatever from some other YouTubers. Let me tell you something. Those guys would fly over the Nash Ranch and they wouldn't even know they were flying over the Nash Ranch. The idea that they're going to go out there and survey and see what happened, this is what they would be dealing with. It's been under snow, it's over snow. So there you go. We'll end this video with the Nash Ranch. Thank you guys for hanging out on YouTube. I'm going to go over here in the next few, probably, let's call it right. We'll try to do right at 12 o'clock on Facebook. We will go live on at the right around the 12ish hour, between 12 and 12:30. I'm gonna do between 12 and 12:30 because every time I try to do something on time, I'll be late. So 12 and 12:30, we will go out. We're gonna go by and say a prayer. We'll do a quick prayer service, prayer memorial, a little thought, whatever. You can join us live on Facebook at Kelsey's Memorial Bench, just to say a prayer, just to send some blessings and some prayers towards the Barrett family. So we'll try to do that between 12 and 12:30. Yep, we'll see you guys soon on Facebook. I'm trying to find a picture. Is it this one? That one.